How's it going, Martians? Welcome back to another report. In this one, we're going over an article from Cointelegraph titled XRP Price Lost 95% in 2 years. Is it time now to get bullish? So, the article begins, altcoins dropped severely during the recent retracement of Bitcoin's price to 6,400, which increased Bitcoin's dominance above 70%. One of these coins is XRP, which took a hit of 20% and is currently valued at 19 cents per coin, or the lowest value in over 2 years after hitting a low of 17.8 cents. Nevertheless, the blockchain payments firm behind XRP, Ripple, just announced that it raised over another $200 million in funding. Aside from that, they claimed that to have the strongest year of growth to date in 2019. But the question for XRP now is whether the current lows provide a perfect investment opportunity, or will the top 3 altcoin continue to lose ground? Let's take a look at the chart to spot the trend. So, once again, it says XRP hits lowest USD value in 26 months. Unfortunately for XRP holders, the trend remains the same since the last article, still trending downwards, posting lower lows and lower highs. As XRP made a bearish retest of the 30-cent level, the price retraced further and is currently resting on the next significant support around 17 to 20 cents. This is the lowest level since October 2017 and is also a full retracement of the massive move during peak mania in early 2018 with a high around $3, with near $4, but we'll go with $3. All right. At any rate, now the sentiment is hitting euphoria levels for bears as people can't see any bullish perspective for the coin anymore. There's this old saying from an old man who's a billionaire, buy when there's blood in the streets? Who is that? Oh yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah, I don't know though. That's not financial advice. That's just what Warren Buffett says to people. I don't think that's financial advice. That's just his method of getting rich. When everybody's saying, oh, it's just going to go down, and there's fundamentals that indicate that it should be doing anything but. Well, that tells you that the market's obviously being manipulated, and that it's going to do anything but what everybody thinks it is, right? Is that me saying that XRP can't go a leg lower? Anybody that was in my live stream on Friday knows that I said, I think XRP could retrace one leg lower. I think that we could test the 13 to 14 cent range before we get our sharp retracement back. Now, I expect that to just be a wick down before we pop up, but that's my bearish sentiment. I also still think that there's a strong case to be made that we have already bottomed. The 17 cent point that we dropped to was our bottom, and then now we're going to see the price rally back up to 25, 26 cents, and we'll see if we can break out of this downward trend. At any rate, the article continues on. So does this mean that XRP is a great opportunity right now? No. However, maximum investment opportunity typically occur when prices are not showing the progress of the asset or project itself yet. And this just may be the case with XRP. It's not just maybe, it's 110% the case with XRP. Anybody who's followed my channel or read the news themselves or has listened to Christine Lagarde, listened to any of the numerous interviews between Brad Garlinghouse, Alex Holmes, or any other member of the financial institutions working with Ripple, it's clear that XRP is being significantly undervalued. It's that people are not betting on this in the way that they really should be right now, and therefore it is a tremendous buying opportunity. But again, that's my opinion, obviously. So the article continues on to talk about fractals. So markets move in similar ways, mostly based on human emotion and market psychology. That's why it's interesting to look at fractals in earlier cycles. Similarly to the bubble of 2017 in Bitcoin, the dot-com bubble are comparable in their pattern itself. Checking the complete graph of XRP, the chart is divided into two periods, one through 2015 and 2016, and another one since the big jump in 2017. In the first period, the price moved between two significant levels for almost 2 years, between 0.05 cents and 0.9 cents. There has also been one movement when the price moved below this range in December 2015, January 2016. If we analyze that in relation to where Bitcoin was at this point, we can see that the given drop coincides with Bitcoin finding its bottom from the first parabolic move. Is this Bitcoin's? It looks like it looks like Bitcoin price. And then is that XRP chart up there? It's hard to tell what they're showing here. So this is XBT USD. I'm not sure what chart that is. It's showing Bitcoin USD 3-day chart. Okay. And that goes back to basically when Bitcoin inverted in 2015 is what he's saying, that this little low in 2016 is coinciding with. Which, okay, that actually does look relatively spot on too. Interestingly enough, the price of XRP has been hovering in a similar range for more than a year before it broke south. This breakdown is leading to a test of the next support level, the blue horizontal line, similar to the one in the previous cycle, which could suggest that XRP itself is nearing its cyclic bottom. Its cyclical bottom? I guess cyclic is maybe the appropriate term there. But yeah, here, let me zoom this in for anybody who's able to look at the video here. So this is the blue lines that he's talking about, right? The price broke down to this blue support, which was the previous low range, and it's doing the same thing right now. And this support that he's talking about is actually the same one that I was talking about, that on some of the charts that I was looking at actually comes down to the 14-15 cent range down here. That's why I set that as the range that I said that XRP could hit before it retraces back up. And if you look at the previous cycle, it did wick below that range, so it could easily wick below this 16 down to that 15 where I'm saying, and then jump back up, and then we'll see the market begin to go flat for a little while, like we'll consolidate as it did here, and then we'll hopefully get our rally to break out of this bear trend and retest this range up at the near 50 cents. At any rate, the article continues. Moreover, if you compare recent movements of BTC with XRP, Bitcoin is now potentially bottoming once more from its first parabolic move and possibly out of the bear market. However, one should not assume that the current period is just like 2017. The same level of euphoria just isn't there. There is also not nearly the same amount of new retail traders entering the market right now. And okay, so let me be clear about this. The retail market didn't blow up for Bitcoin until near the end of 2017, like the second half of 2017. Bitcoin euphoria really set in around June, July, when the price rallied after its bump up. Now, you could make the argument that it technically started in maybe like April, May of 2017, but still the price had not yet broke past its previous all-time high yet in that earlier part of the year, and so euphoria hadn't really set in. Nobody was really, getting big into Bitcoin at that point. I was watching Bitcoin and was still not investing at the beginning of 2017. Even at the end of 2016, when we had the first run up back to nearly 1,000, I wasn't interested at that point, because at that point I was like, oh well, it's basically just back near where it was at its previous all-time high, so it's probably going to crash back down. And I'm promising you that's what most people who are not invested in these assets right now are saying when they look at what Bitcoin's doing right now and when it went up to that near 14K. And that's what they'll say again when it hits 20K, until it goes above and beyond its previous all-time high. Then euphoria will return to the market. Not until then. That's how market emotions work. But to finish off this article, he goes on to talk about how XRP retracing back to the bottom of Bitcoin pairing in particular is not showing much strength after losing its major support. The level broke down due to the volatility of Bitcoin, but it was critical nonetheless for XRP. Then a retracement happened to the next support zone, which must now hold if XRP wants to prevent itself from making new lows. And so here they show the XRP BTC chart, and this is showing back to September, where it is actually finding support on top of what was resistance back in September. So this is actually a good sign. This is actually a potential point for us to rocket up. So they're kind of painting that bearish, but it's actually kind of bullish when you look at it, because XRP is setting a higher low right now, for the moment at least, against Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. At any rate, based on the overall XRP BTC chart, a conclusion can be drawn that XRP is still showing significant bullish divergence on higher time frames for a potential trend reversal. However, one caveat is that the green zone must hold to justify these bullish divergences. Okay, so yeah, that is exactly how I feel, and very, very adequate, or very, very rational opinion. So good one on the Cointelegraph for that. So as the chart shows, it's kind of weird because they keep going between this this negative and this positive sentiment, where they're back and forth, and they're not really it's like they're painting themselves on both sides of the line, so no matter what, their article comes out right. So as the chart shows, the green area is a zone that has served as support and resistance throughout each cycle. In this zone if this zone is unable to support price at this point, XRP is likely to move down towards the next red zone area around 1,200 to 1,300 sats. And that would be kind of devastating, because that would be nearly half, it would basically be a 50% dump against Bitcoin. But hopefully that will coincide with a nice USD dump so that we can buy that dip. And hopefully that'll end somewhere around 15 cents. We'll see what happens. But yeah, looking forward, holding XRP in the past few years didn't bring the return people were looking for, as the price retraced 94.8% since the peak in January 2018. So does this mean that shorting XRP is a wise strategy here? I don't believe it is. Fundamentally, the firm behind XRP is continuing to move forward and pursue their plans, as sentiment couldn't be more bearish. Generally, the highest returns are made from investing contrary to the sentiment, which can flip quickly with just a few green candles. However, it is critical for XRP to hold the 2,600 Satoshi level as support and seek to find bullish divergence or support at 19 to 20 cents. If this level holds as support, the risk-reward potential for longing XRP will be much higher than shorting it. So, all we have to do is wait and see how XRP ends the year. And we even have an article from Ripple that came out earlier where they are even very bullish on XRP's price going into 2020. That'll be the next piece of news that I will cover for everybody. So today's kind of a price day. I hope everybody enjoys their Mover Monday. Hope everybody's been able to buy that dip this Friday if you had the money to do that dollar cost average thing. Hopefully you did it, because the price has moved up this weekend and we seem to be in at least a temporary reprieve from the overall dumping, as you see here, right? So almost for a full week now we've been moving up since our low on, I think it was last Tuesday or last Thursday maybe, or last Wednesday maybe. Let's just check real quick. I think it was Wednesday, yeah. So with that said, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like. Also, if you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe and ring that bell so you can be notified of all my newest content, XRP related primarily, but we cover all things Fourth Industrial Revolution here on the Marsh.